High rate of fish getting away? It might be due to issues with the fishhooks, the timing of lifting the rod, or the way you reel in the fish. Let's take a look at the solutions. The most annoying thing about fishing is when the fish is almost pulled ashore, the hook suddenly loosens, and the fish flicks its tail and swims away. In fact, fish getting away isn't a matter of luck. Most of the time, it's because we didn't pay attention to these key points. Today, let's talk about how to solve this. Common reasons for fish escaping and unhooking. 1. Dull or damaged fishhooks. Many anglers don't replace their hooks even after using them for a long time. They continue to use hooks with dull tips, even when the barbs are worn down or the hook bodies are deformed. If the hook tip isn't sharp, it can't pierce deeply into the fish, and the fish will escape with a little struggle. A deformed hook or a worn barb can't hold the fish at all. In such cases, just replacing it with a new hook will solve the problem. 2. Poor timing of lifting the rod. If you lift the rod too early, the fish has just touched the bait, and the hook is still outside its mouth, which will naturally result in an empty hook. If you lift the rod too late, the fish has already spit out the bait, or the hook has pierced shallowly, and the fish will swim away with a flick of its head. The correct way is to keep an eye on the float. Different fish have different float movements when eating the bait. For crucian carp, the float first moves slightly and then either dips or rises. For carp, the float first sways a little and then sinks completely. If you lift the rod when you see these obvious signals, the rate of hooking the fish will increase a lot. 3. Inappropriate float adjustment. If the float is adjusted too sensitively, even a little current or wind and waves will make the float move, making it difficult to distinguish between real and false fish bites, which can easily lead to lifting the rod too early. If it's adjusted too sluggishly, the float will move slowly only after the fish has swallowed the bait and swum a certain distance. By the time you lift the rod, the fish has already felt the foreign object and will easily escape when struggling. Generally, adjust it to be more sensitive when fishing for small fish, and a bit sluggish when fishing for large fish. Specifically, adjust according to the on-site fish and water conditions. After a few tries, you can find the right state. 4. The fishing rod is too stiff or reeling in the fish too aggressively. A stiff rod has poor elasticity, and the impact force when the fish struggles is directly transmitted to the hook, which can easily pull the hook out of the fish's mouth. When reeling in the fish, if you are in a hurry and pull hard upwards, the rod is pulled into a straight line, the fish's momentum has no place to dissipate, and the hook bears too much force, which also makes it very easy for the fish to escape. The correct way is to let the rod follow the fish's momentum after hooking. When the fish rushes, pull the rod back to relieve the force, When the fish stops, pull it slowly, giving the hook enough time to hold the fish's mouth. 2. On-site handling and long-term prevention. 1. Check and adjust immediately after the fish escapes. If fish keep escaping, don't continue fishing. First, check the hook. Touch the tip of the hook with your hand. If it's not sharp or has wear, replace it with a new one. A hook that costs a few cents can solve a big problem. Then check the float. If you lift the rod frequently but catch no fish, adjust it to be more sluggish. If fish escape without any signal, adjust it to be more sensitive. If you are using a stiff rod, replace it with a softer one if you have one. A soft rod protects the hook and the line, reducing the probability of fish escaping. Finally, remind yourself not to panic when reeling in the fish. Keep calm and reel it in slowly, and even large fish can be exhausted. 2. Prepare details before going fishing. Spend a few minutes checking your equipment before each fishing trip. Check each hook one by one. Throw away those that are dull, bent, or have damaged barbs. Don't make do with them. Adjust the float in advance at home, and make fine adjustments according to the water depth and quality when you get to the fishing spot. Check the rod tip and the connections of the fishing rod. If there are cracks or looseness, repair them in time. Practice casting and lifting the rod regularly. Get familiar with the float movements of different fish. If you improve your reaction speed and judgment ability, fewer fish will escape naturally. 3. Practical tips to prevent unhooking in wild fishing. 1. Choosing the right fishhook is crucial. Use different hooks for different fish. Don't buy hooks just because they are cheap. Cheap hooks are of poor quality, and their tips get dull easily. Choose well-known brands. They are more expensive but more durable. Check new hooks when you get them. If they are not sharp enough, sharpen them a little with sandpaper. 2. Grasp the right signal to lift the rod. In wild fishing, fish eat the bait gently, especially crucian carp. You need to keep your eyes fixed on the float. Don't be in a hurry when the float moves. Wait until there is an obvious sudden dip, complete sinking, or rising of the float before lifting the rod. At first, you may not grasp it accurately, but after fishing a few times and remembering the characteristics of the float movements of each kind of fish, you will be able to lift the rod accurately. 3. Flexibly adjust the sensitivity of the float. The underwater situation in wild fishing is complex. When you are in a place with thick silt, keep the bait a few centimeters off the bottom to prevent the bait from being buried in the mud where the fish can't see it. If there are many rocks and debris at the bottom, adjust the float to be more sluggish to make the subline bend, reducing the chance of hooking. When the fish are active, adjusted to be more sensitive to catch subtle signals. When the fish bite gently, adjusted to be more sluggish to make it easier for the fish to suck in the bait. In short, make adjustments according to the actual fish situation. For reeling in, the fish focuses on stability. After hooking the fish, first set the rod upright. Use the elasticity of the rod to buffer the impact force of the fish. Don't pull hard at the beginning. If the fish swims to the left, pull the rod to the right. If the fish rushes to the right, guide the rod to the left. Gradually consume the fish's strength. When the fish is exhausted and turns belly up, use a landing net to scoop it up. Don't fight hard with large fish. Release the line in time when the fishing line and rod can't bear the force. Safety is the first priority. If a fish escapes, you can catch another one, but it's not worth it if you get injured. If you want fewer fish to escape while fishing, the key lies in the details. Keep the hook sharp, grasp the right time to lift the rod, adjust the float properly, and reel in the fish steadily. All these require more fishing and summarization. Over time, you will naturally become an experienced angler. Spend some time checking your equipment before your next fishing trip. Observe and think more while fishing, and the number of fish escaping will definitely decrease. Fishing is originally for fun. Keep these in mind, and you will have a more pleasant time. Author profile: I am a self-media blogger who loves fishing and is good at sharing. Follow me, and we will exchange fishing skills and discuss every bit of angler's wild fishing. Give a like, collect, and follow to avoid missing the next update.